We're live here at HCIC in Austin, Texas.
Podcasters are today's influencers, so you included.
I'm no influencer. Being a little bit modest. He's modest, guys. You're not deliberately being a competitor. You're just better at it. We are coming to you here live at HCIC in Austin, Texas. And I am here with my good friend, Ben Dillon. We've known each other for a very long time.
It's good to see you. Good to be back with you again.
Ben, I'm excited to have a conversation with you today. For people that are watching, they may want to know a little bit more about you. Do you mind giving like a brief intro?
Sure. I'm the CEO of Geonetric. Geonetric is a digital experience agency working with hospitals and health systems. So everything from websites, digital marketing, content development, user experience, a lot of HIPAA-compliant digital marketing expertise there. Again, working with clients in the healthcare space.
And digital experience, you mentioned that, right? I mean, this is the thing that we're talking about here at the conference all the time. Digital experience. It means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But give us your definition of what that is.
Well, obviously, we start by thinking about what's happening on the website. And it continues to be the center of that universe and an important piece of the pie. And looking at how we can do that in a way that's more personalized and more individualized and maybe more self-service in the way that we do things. Like, how can we facilitate more than just giving you information, but actually let you do things in that space? But it's growing a lot as well. And, certainly, the app space is getting some life again. And I think in a good way. It's not always been a space that's been exploited in a productive way or a way that's particularly good for consumers, but we're seeing some really exciting things happening there. And actually just the digital realm in general, we're seeing consumer behavior shifting so that we're just doing a lot more evaluation, making a lot more decisions before we ever engage with brands in general. It's true of, your airlines, any of these things.
Right.
It's also true in healthcare,
right?
Where the things that people see about your organization online are driving their opinion, driving decisions that they're making before they ever actually come spend time on the properties you own and control, right? And so it's sort of necessary but not sufficient to have that core website and to have everything there really clicking. But now, AI-powered search and, reviews kind of having a new explosion out there and just more and more information about your organization available to people before they ever really connect with you. There's this need to really think about all of these different elements of how you're found and how you're seen and how are you reacting to that and how do you respond to people. And it's
complicated.
It's complicated,
right?
Yes. You and I were talking the other day, and we were kind of lamenting that sometimes it feels like we've been working on the same problems the last 10 or 15 or 20 years. And I've been thinking about that, and I think we are, but also the organizations that we're doing these things for can become exponentially more complicated.
Yeah.
So that basic problem of how do we connect a consumer to the care they need and the best place to get that care, that was never easy. These organizations are unnecessarily complicated, but now they've merged with other unnecessarily complicated organizations.
Right.
And so those problems have become a lot harder. So we keep coming back to them. I think not because we never quite got them done, but because I think the bar changes. And then consumer expectations for what we're doing and change that too. Right. So, all these different places where people expect us to be, that's another thing that just makes it all a little bit harder to get things done with the same resources we had, with a bigger organization, more moving pieces. It's hard to get all the things done that we need to get done in this.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, the way you're painting it out, right? It almost seems virtually impossible. Yet there are ways to do this, right? I mean, and you spend a lot of time with the organizations kind of helping with them. So, the people that are watching us, right? They're probably wondering, like, what would you say? I mean, I'm overwhelmed by just you telling it. I'm in the space.
I mean, you need to have solid strategy.
Yeah.
You need to be able to prioritize. You need to have governance and engagement and buy-in within your organization.
Yeah.
I think more projects hit walls because of political challenges. Even a lot of the times where people feel like they have like financial and resource challenges.
Right.
A lot of times that's really political challenges in the organization.
Yeah.
Just expressing themselves that way.
Right.
So you need to make sure that the folks who are driving strategy for the organization are up to speed to some degree on what you're doing and what's possible there, and how you can get some of those things accomplished. And then you can work with them to figure out what are the most important things, how are we going to block and tackle, because it is impossible if you try to do everything.
Right.
Yeah, like, I mean, we could do all the things, we can't do them all at once. But also, I feel like there is a strong role for things that aren't directly demand capture activities. Right. I do think there's a strong role to be played for brand building. I do think there's a strong role to be played for nurturing. I think there's a whole bunch of things that we've poo-pooed a little bit as an industry, because we are able to capture these very specific high value activities so well. But it's harder to do those things if we're not doing the other things that we're capable of doing well.
Right.
Right. So I do think that there's a balancing act and understanding, like, what does engagement look like, and are we reaching people, and are they connecting, and what does our brand look like? How's it perceived in the space, and how can we influence and move some of those needles?
Sounds to me like an old-fashioned marketing funnel. I mean, not to,
Yeah.
but I mean, in a very simplistic way, it's really what it is, right? The awareness, reputation, branding at the top, etc. And then when you layer in digital experience, then it's like measuring it through the funnel to then what happens and bringing that back to the top of the funnel again. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a infinite loop, so to speak.
Yeah. The details, the tactics change, but the fundamentals of what we're trying to do with marketing, I think, continue to hold up really strong in this environment.
Then it really helps to have people like you helping you set the record straight for those of us who are someone struggling with it. Every time I talk to you, man, it's like I always feel like I'm a little bit more wiser, and I really appreciate that.
Likewise.
Thank you for all your contributions.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.